Hello everyone, it's Robin here and welcome. I'm excited to see you all here today. It's Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to you all. Love you all very much and hope you're having a great day. Well, today I want to talk bookish to you. I'm excited about the books. You've seen me update my reading journal and I've been having a lot of fun with that. But today I have a little bit of a book haul and it has to do with my Book of the Month subscription, which is really fun. So Book of the Month, if you're new to it, is a monthly book subscription. They curate a bunch of books. You get to pick one a month and you get to do some add-ons. I took advantage of the add-on option this month and I added 2 books in here. So I have 3 books to share. I have an historical fiction, I have a romance for, you know, the month of love, and a thriller because I'm kind of excited about this one. So I'm excited to get into this, really excited for the historical fiction, and let's just get started. So let's get this opened up. Oh, you've got great taste. Why, thank you, Book of the Month. I think you do too. And right on the top is my main selection this month. This is the whole reason I wanted to get this particular box, because I was really excited when I heard this book was coming out. It's my historical fiction and it's Kristen Hanna's The Women. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. So Kristen Hanna became a favorite author of mine. Was it last year or the year before? It might have been the year before or maybe last year. I don't know, when I read The 4 Winds. Favorite book ever. I loved that book so much. Kristen Hanna writes historical fiction. It really puts you in the time period. You learn a lot about the struggles of people during a time period. And The 4 Winds was about the Great Dust Bowl situation. And this one is in the Vietnam era, but which is a little reminiscent of her book, The Great Alone, which I haven't read yet, but I have ready to read. That's another one, but that is an aftermath of Vietnam War following a war veteran. This one is about the women of the Vietnam War, but I'm so excited about this. Here, take a good look at this cover. I wanted to give you a real close-up of this because this cover is really pretty and vibrant. Look at that red and the golds. So we have the helicopter here and the palm trees, which is very reminiscent of the time period of the Vietnam War and what that war looked like. The back of this has the Book of the Month heart here, and it says February 2024. That was a selection for that month. And here's the spine right here. So pretty. So I am very excited about this book. It follows a 20-year-old nursing student, Frankie McGrath. So let me put my glasses on so we can get a closer look here. There we go. So Frankie joins the Army Corps nurses right after her brother ships out for the Vietnam War. And what I found interesting is that this book takes place in Southern California. I grew up in Southern California, and they're on Coronado Island. I know that island very well. And so she was raised in Southern California, and this is mid-60s, so this is 1965, and she is shipped off to Vietnam as a nurse. And so this book is, and I'm kind of paraphrasing as I go down, as green and inexperienced as the men sent to Vietnam to fight, Frankie is overwhelmed by the chaos and destruction of war, and each day is a gamble of life and death, hope and betrayal. Friendships run deep but can be shattered in an instant. So you can imagine, right? You can imagine in that wartime, you get close to somebody and, you know, they might not survive. They might not survive at all. The war is just the beginning, though, for her and her friends. The real battle lies in coming home to a changed and divided America who are angry about the war. So I find this interesting because my dad, I grew up as a military child, and my dad was in the Navy and he was in Vietnam. I remember this time period very well. I was young, but I still really remember it. I remember the protesters. I remember the Vietnam War. I remember all of that and how adamant my dad was about, you know, what he was doing with it. He was in the Navy, and this just really hits home a little bit. So The Women, though, here, this book is about the story of one woman gone to war, but it shines a light on all women who put themselves in harm's way and whose sacrifices and commitment to their country has too often been forgotten. So this takes on the part of the women that served during that time. I think this is really interesting. Kristen Hanna, I just love the way she writes. I just love the way she writes. And she does write larger books. The Four Winds was this way too. This is probably over 400 pages. So let's look here. I do this, but I don't want to read like the last page. That's the author's note. So I'm always being very careful. 464 pages, but 464 pages of just heartfelt writing and really understanding a time period. So I'm very excited to read this book. Spoiler, just already had started reading it. So there we have it. Okay, Kristen Hanna, The Women. She also wrote The Nightingale, which is on my list of books I must read this year. So this one was coming out and I'm like, I have to read this. So I'll probably read both of them. The Nightingale is a very similar story, but it takes place in World War II, but it's about a nurse in the war. So that might be an interesting read this year also to go along with this. Okay, let's pull the next book. I see it peeking out here and it's a thriller. And it is Riley Sager, The Only One Left. Oh, that was just so creepy. Here, check out this cover. So you can see on this cover, it's like a cliff and then there's this house, this giant house on top of this cliff. And then there's the water down below. So this is The Only One Left. And it is, what does this say? Thrills and chills. And then here is this right here. So this blue on top of this red, it has like a 3D effect for me. I mean, that's like what I can see. It just like splits from it. It's really cool. Chilling. So this book looks scary and it looks like it's a haunted house type of book, but let me share this one thing. So this is best-selling author Riley Sager. Oh wait, let me put my glasses on so I can see this better. There we go. Returns with a deliciously twisted and addictive gothic chiller about a young caregiver whose name is Kit, assigned to work for a woman whose name is Lenora, who's accused of a Lizzie Borden like massacre that happened decades earlier. So that's the gist of this. So there's the poem. Do you remember the whole Lizzie Borden? There was like the schoolyard chant that went around. Here's the schoolyard chant for this one. At 17, Lenora Hope hung her sister with a rope, stabbed her father with a knife, took her mother's happy life. It wasn't me, Lenora said, but she's the only one not dead. Oh, so creepy. Oh my gosh. I haven't read a thriller in a very long time. I used to be, I was a huge Stephen King fan. And I really do love those chilling books, but it's been a while since I really read a chiller, you know, a real thriller chiller. So I'm really excited about this. I know Riley Sager, very great chiller thriller writer, author. Awkward. But so I'm excited to read this one. So this is this happens on the Maine coast. So this is in Maine. So that's what this cliff is. It's like this Maine seaside type area. And this happened, the murders happened in like 1929. And so now we're up into the 80s now. So most people assume that 17-year-old Lenora at the time of the murders was responsible, but police were never able to prove it. So she just always kept denying it. And then she has never stepped foot out of Hope's End, which is this mansion on top of this cliff. So Hope's End, I think that's going to be a haunted situation. So now it's flash forward to 1983, and home health aide Kit McDeer arrives at Hope's End, and the mansion is kind of falling apart and everything because the caregiver of Lenora, who is she 80 or something, 70, 80, I don't know, she's rendered mute, so she can't communicate, but the home health care fled. Why did that happen? Oh, chiller thriller, right? So she comes to help out. And, she's in her 70s. She's confined to a wheelchair and she's rendered mute by a series of strokes. She can only communicate with Kit by tapping out sentences on an old typewriter. So that's cool and eerie, right? Too. I love that. And one night, Lenora uses it to make a tantalizing offer. I want to tell you everything. Oh my gosh. So Kit's at the other end of getting to hear the whole story from Lenora about what happened that night when her family was massacred. So as Kit helps find Lenora, write about the events leading to the Hope family massacre, it becomes clear there's more to the tale than people know. But when new details about why her predecessor fled in the night, you know, the caregiver nurse that fled, comes to light, Kit starts to suspect that Lenora might not be telling the complete truth, and that the seemingly harmless woman over there could be far more dangerous than she first thought. Okay, so this is really cool. So is Lenora dangerous? Did she do all these things? Is the house haunted? What's happening? I don't know, but I'm interested in finding out. So this looks relatively thinner. Oh, so the back of this, I didn't even notice this when I shared this with you. This is in this black, there's a rope going on back there. I don't know if you can see that. It's hard to see. So this isn't as long as the Kristen Hanna books. Definitely don't want to read the last part of this, so gotta be careful, gotta be careful. Okay, I gotta be careful. 382 pages, so almost 400. But this will be a great chiller when I'm in the mood for a chiller, which I need to try to get myself in the mood here soon so I can get some of these, because I have quite a few of them on my shelf over there. In fact, I have another Riley Sager, the Home, what is that? Oh, Home Before Dark. And I heard that one was really good too. So I gotta get cracking, Okay, I have one more book left, and we are celebrating Valentine's Day with a romance. And this is the Christina Lauren, The True Love Experiment. I've been excited to read this one. Look at this cover. It's just gorgeous. Look at all the purples and into the pinks, and then the sparkles going on with the golds and the yellows. So pretty. The True Love Experiment. And this is love stories. So it's a romantic comedy is what it is, which is always fun, right? And then here is the spine. I love the way this book looks. You gotta love a good rom-com, right? I mean, I do. So the True Love Experiment is really a TV show that happens. But, well, let me read the beginning of this to you. It says, sparks fly when a romance novelist and a documentary filmmaker join forces to craft the perfect Hollywood love story. The True Love Experiment, right? But only if they can keep chemistry between them from taking the whole thing off script. Well, of course that's gonna happen, right? So Felicity Chen, and it says Fizzy, so that's her name in here. Fizzy is a romance novelist, and she realizes one day that she hasn't been practicing what she preaches. She's not finding her own swoon-worthy love story, and she definitely wants to do that. Go over to our documentary filmmaker, whose name is Connor Prince, which I find funny because, you know, she's going to be carried off by her prince, right? I wonder if that's a play. Anyway, I find that funny. So Connor Prince is a single father. He likes his job because he can live close to his daughter. So that's cool. So we have single dad kind of thing happening here. He's tasked to create a reality show though, which is a little out of his realm because he's used to creating documentaries. So with this reality show, he's trying to find this hook, and he comes across then this romance author who needs to find love, and you know, 1 + 1 = 2, right? But in this case, it'll probably equal 3, 4, 5, and 6, which means it's probably not going to go as planned. So he puts Felicity, or Fizzy, is it Fizzy? Fizzy into the show, and sparks are flying, but it's between the two of them. That's what I imagine. I don't think that's a spoiler because that's kind of what all this said. So Christina Lauren, here's their picture. Christina Lauren is two authors. It's Christina Hobbs and Lauren Billings. So they pen this together, which is also kind of fun. Starring in Connor's show is Fizzy's chance to finally step into the role of romance heroine. But when the lights come up and all eyes are on her, turns out her happily ever after might just lie behind the cameras. Yes, okay, so I'm all about this life. That will be fun. This looks pretty thick too. Let's check out how many pages we have going on in here. That's the acknowledgements. The words seem larger in here and spread apart. 401. Oh, I don't want to read that because here. So the words, don't read the words, but see, they seem kind of on the larger side or spread apart, I guess. But this one looks like a lot of fun, and you know, I'm always ready for a good romance, especially if it's a rom-com. I really like that. It kind of has more a light-hearted, even though it's 400 pages, it's more of a light read. Probably a lighter read than this 400-page Kristen Hanna, The Women, but I'm really looking forward to reading this, which you know, spoiler, as I said, I already have started, and gotta be in the mood, but the only one left. Definitely one for the books. Can't wait to read this. So these are the 3 books I picked up from Book of the Month. Have you read any of these? I would love to hear about it down in the comments below. No spoilers, please, but let me know what you thought of them. I'm excited to hear about that. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Oh my gosh. Yes, you'll be hearing about this in the next Reading Journal update.